Mom, what are all these boxes for? Why is the house completely empty? I'm moving. I sold the house. What? You sold our house? Figure it out yourselves. Just like you made me do all these years. What you're about to hear will shock you. A 74-year-old woman who spent 30 years sacrificing everything for her family made a decision that changed everything in just 1 week. But before we dive in, make sure you've hit subscribe. And your support means everything to stories like this. My name is Margaret. I'm 74 years old and I live by the ocean now. But 6 months ago, I lived a completely different life. For 30 years, I worked as a housekeeper to raise my son Daniel. I thought I was living with my family. But I was wrong. I was just free labor. My day started at 5:30 a.m. every morning. No alarm needed. My body was programmed. I'd pack my granddaughter's lunches, prepare breakfast for everyone, start the laundry, clean every corner of the house. Then I'd work as a housekeeper for other families until 5 p.m., only to come home and prepare dinner for my family. Every single day was a battlefield. At first, when little Emma would hug me and say, "Thank you, Grandma," my heart would burst with pride. I thought, I'm so needed. I mattered to this family. But slowly, everything changed. My daughter-in-law, Sarah, started looking at me differently, like I was hired help. "Margaret, is the cleaning done? I'm having friends over today." "Margaret, dinner needs to be ready at exactly 6 p.m. The kids have academy classes." Exactly 6 p.m., not 6:01, not 509. Exactly 6 p.m. "Margaret, please wash our laundry separately. We can't have our clothes mixed with yours." That's when it hit me. I was living in the same house, but I had to wash my clothes separately. Was I even family? When I got sick with a fever of 102 degrees, barely able to breathe, you know what Sarah asked me? "Margaret, I know you're not feeling well, but what about dinner? Could you at least make something simple for the kids?" I was dying with fever, and her concern wasn't my health. It was dinner. The breaking point came when I needed back surgery. 30 years of bending over, cleaning, lifting heavy laundry baskets had destroyed my spine. "Daniel, Mom needs surgery." "Surgery? How long will she be out?" "About a week." You know what my son said? The words still echo in my head. "Then what about the housework?" Not, "Is Mom okay?" Not, "Will she be safe?" Just, "What about the housework?" Surgery day. I went alone. Changed into hospital clothes alone. Waited outside the operating room alone. The nurse looked at me with pity. "Ma'am, isn't anyone coming to be with you? You'll need someone here when you wake up." "They're all busy." "I'll be fine by myself." But I wasn't fine. I was 74 years old, facing the scariest moment of my life, completely alone. The woman in the next bed, her entire family took turns staying with her. Sons, daughters-in-law, grandchildren. After her surgery, they all rushed in. "Mom, are you okay? Does it hurt? Can we get you water?" When I woke up from anesthesia, I stared at an empty white ceiling. No one to ask for water. No one to hold my hand. Just me and the silence. Even coming home was heartbreaking. I could barely walk because of the pain. Sarah met me at the door, and her first words weren't, "How are you feeling?" They were, "Margaret, the surgery went well, right? We were too busy to visit. But can you handle housework starting tomorrow?" Tomorrow? I hadn't even been home for an hour. "Sarah, the doctor said I need to rest for a month." "A month? What are we supposed to do? Should we hire a maid? That's expensive." A maid was too expensive, but I was free. Then I overheard the conversation that changed everything. I was going to the bathroom when I heard them in the living room. "Honey, I think your mom is really limiting our lifestyle. I can't even have friends over freely. And we can't go out to eat without feeling awkward. And she's always interfering." Interfering was helping the kids with homework. Interfering was making soup when they were sick. Interfering was cooking birthday seaweed soup. Interfering. Yeah, it is a bit much. What should we do? Honestly, we'd be so much freer without your mom. What about a nursing home? They have nice ones these days. A nursing home. After 30 years of sacrifice, they wanted to put me in a nursing home. The final blow came the next week. Daniel smiled brightly and said, Mom, we're going to Jeju Island for vacation. Just for a few days, I held on to my last hope. Am I coming too? Mom, you should rest at home. We want to have a family trip. Family trip. Those two words pierced my heart like a dagger. So I wasn't family? After living together for 20 years, I wasn't family? That's when I heard it, something inside me breaking. Probably my heart. As I watched them disappear through the front door with their suitcases, I made a quiet promise to myself, enough. I've sacrificed enough. For 74 years, I've lived as someone's mom, someone's grandmother, someone's servant. Now I'm going to live as Margaret. The moment their car disappeared, I called the realtor. My hands were shaking, but my resolve was firm. Hello, I want to sell my house. Cash only. I want it sold fast. The realtor came that afternoon. He looked around and nodded approvingly. This is an old apartment, but it's in excellent condition. You've clearly taken great care of it. Since it's cash only, we'll have to price it a bit below market value. But there's a reconstruction project happening here. I can sell it within a week. Perfect. Sell it quickly. Ma'am, does your family know about this? My heart pounded, but I answered confidently. It's my house. I'll handle it myself. For 74 years, I'd never made such a big decision alone. But it felt liberating. Within 3 days, I had buyers. A young newlywed couple who fell in love with the apartment. Ma'am, you were happy in this house, weren't you? We'll be happy here too. Happy? I'm not sure I was ever truly happy there. Maybe at first, when Daniel got married and I could live with my grandchildren. But gradually my place in that house kept shrinking. Yes, be happy. While they were vacationing in Jeju, I quietly prepared to move. I called my friend Grace. Grace, I'm moving to a coastal town. What? What about Daniel and his family? I want to live alone now. Grace understood immediately. I told her everything, how I'd been living, how miserable I was, why I made this decision. Good for you, Margaret. You should have done this years ago. Moving day arrived. The movers came at 7 a.m. Surprisingly, I didn't have much stuff. 30 years of living, but only a few boxes of belongings. Ma'am, you don't have much for someone who lived here 30 years. Usually people need multiple trucks. That's when I realized I'd never bought anything for myself. Everything was always for the family. Daniel's family returned from vacation just as the moving truck was leaving. The kids ran in excitedly. Grandma, we're back. The trip was amazing. But they stopped when they saw me sitting calmly in the empty living room, surrounded by boxes. Sarah spoke first, dragging her suitcase. Margaret, what are all these boxes for? That was my moment. I'm moving. I sold the house. Moving? Where? To the coast. The moving truck comes tomorrow morning. Daniel and Sarah's faces went white. Mom, what are you talking about? We just got back from vacation. And suddenly you're talking about moving? I sold the house. What? You sold the house? Mom, what are we supposed to do? That's when I let out 30 years of suppressed emotion. Figure it out yourselves. Just like you made me do all these years. Mom, then what are we supposed to do? How can we suddenly move? You said you wanted to live independently. Now you can really be independent. Sarah got angry. When did we ever tell you to leave? You didn't directly. But what about the nursing home plan? What about telling me to clean every day? Do laundry separately. Have dinner ready at exactly 6 p.m.? Did you forget all that? They both fell silent. They remembered how they'd treated me. And Sarah, this house was bought with money. I earned working as a housekeeper for 30 years. I raised Daniel alone after my husband died, cleaning other people's houses, cooking their meals, saving every penny. You just moved in and lived here. Have you ever paid a single utility bill? Sarah mumbled, You said you didn't want us to pay. I said that because you acted like it was beneath you to discuss money. You made me feel like it was rude to even bring it up. That was true. Early in their marriage, when I tried to discuss sharing expenses, Sarah said, "Mom, talking about money like that feels so calculating," and looked disgusted. And you thought it was natural for me to work from dawn to midnight, taking care of you all. Cleaning, laundry, cooking, childcare. Do you know how much all that costs? If you hire someone, Daniel quietly said, "Mom, we were grateful." Really grateful? Then why did you treat me like hired help? And what about the nursing home talk? Why was I alone in the hospital when I had surgery while you were all too busy? They had nothing to say. "I'm leaving tomorrow morning. You need to be out by Friday." That's when the new owners move in. "This Friday? That's too fast. That's not fair," Sarah shouted angrily. "Where are we supposed to go?" "Where can't you go? You travel fine as a family." "Sarah, doesn't your mother have room?" "I'm 74 and starting over. Surely young people like you can manage." For the first time in years, I felt free, like a weight had been lifted. The kids looked at me quietly, confused by this different grandmother. "Grandma, are you really going to the coast?" "Yes." Sarah interrupted again. "Mom, what about the children? Don't. You think about how confused they'll be if you suddenly leave?" Children, after all those years of using the children as an excuse to control me, now, she was worried about the children? The children will be confused because you've taught them that grandma is just furniture that belongs in the house. They thought I'd always be there no matter how you treated me. Daniel hung his head. "Mom, we were wrong. Can't you reconsider?" It was too late. Even then, part of me hoped he might sincerely apologize and ask me to stay. But then Daniel said, "What about the money from selling the house?" The money. That's what it was really about. Not concern for me, but concern about the money. "It's my money, so I'll spend it how I want. I'm buying a small house by the coast and living comfortably with what's left." Sarah made one last attempt. "Mom, you're being really selfish." Selfish? In 74 years, no one had ever called me that. Me, who'd lived only for others. Yes, you're right. I am being selfish now. I lived for others for 74 years. I'm going to live for myself for whatever time I have left. That night, I slept deeply for the first time in years. After releasing all those suppressed emotions, I felt strangely peaceful. Moving day morning, I woke up at 5:30 a.m. out of habit. But for the first time in 20 years, I didn't have to take care of anyone else. I slowly drank coffee and reflected on my life. I'd never had the luxury of leisurely coffee before. The movers finished quickly. Daniel's family stood there awkwardly. The atmosphere had been frozen since our confrontation. "Mom, are you really leaving?" "Yes." "I'll call." "Okay." That was it. After all those years of sacrifice, our goodbye was that simple. The grandchildren hugged me tearfully. "We'll miss you, Grandma." Those tears broke my heart. But this time, I had to put myself first. It's been 6 months since I moved to the coast. Every day, I walk on the beach with my dog Charlie, tend my small garden, and chat with neighbor ladies over tea. It's simple, but I'm happy. Daniel calls once a week now. He's completely different. Recently, he visited and told me they'd been staying with Sarah's mother, but it was uncomfortable. Sarah's mother kept asking when they'd move out. "Mom, I finally understand a little how you felt. Sarah has changed too. She says she's sorry for how we treated you. The kids miss you terribly." I felt mixed emotions hearing this, but I wasn't shaken like before. "Daniel, I'm living my life now. I won't interfere in yours, and you shouldn't interfere in mine. We can check on each other occasionally, but don't try to manipulate me like before. I won't sacrifice myself for you anymore." "I understand, Mom. I'm really sorry. Show me your apology through actions. Show me that you can live well as a family." I drew a clear line. Just having feelings doesn't mean we can go back to how things were. Now I think every day while looking at the ocean live as Margaret now, not as someone's mom or someone's grandmother, just Margaret. If any of you have similar experiences or need courage in your own situation, Please share in the comments. Let's support each other. And don't forget to subscribe and like. Your small gesture of interest can give tremendous strength to someone who needs courage, just like me. If you're in a similar situation, let's find courage together. Life is really short, too short to live only for others. What's truly important is whether you are happy, whether you are living the life you want. This moment could be the starting point of your new life. Thank you for listening to my story until the end. Be happy, everyone. See you in the next story. Goodbye.